Hello everyone and welcome to ITLS Academy Empower the Youth. So today in this lecture we will going to study about colorimetry method. So what do you understand by this colorimetry method? So colorimetry, it is a technique which basically use the electrochemistry and to determine the quantity of electricity which is needed to complete an electrolytic reaction. So we all know that for a electrolytic reaction, electricity is very important. So this method, or you can say by this method, we can understand or we can get a complete quantity of electricity that is needed to complete one electrolytic reaction. So this type of technique, it is based on Faraday's law of electrolysis. Okay, so we will going to understand this technique. We will going to understand its instrumentation part. So right now I have just given you an overview. So now let's get started and let's see the detail of colorimetry. So as I have told you that this technique is used in electrochemistry. So why it is used in electrochemistry, or you can say what is the purpose of this technique to be used in electrochemistry? So the purpose is to determine the quantity of electricity which is needed to complete an electrolytic reaction. And I have just used the word that is Faraday's law. So this technique is based on, I'm just writing it here. So this technique is based on which law? Faraday's law. So we all have studied about Faraday's laws in our schools in physics. So let me give you a brief revision of what is Faraday's law. So if you say that Faraday's law states that the mass of a substance produced or a mass of a substance that is consumed during an electrolytic reaction is directly proportional to the amount of electricity that flows through the system. Okay, so again I am repeating, Faraday law state that the mass of substance produced or consumed during a electrolytic reaction is directly proportional to the amount of electricity that flows through the system. Okay, so colorimetry is can be used to determine that how much amount of substance that is there in a solution. Okay, first thing. Second, it can also used to determine the purity of the compound, or you can say they are used for the kinetics of electrochemical reaction. Okay, so this is about the colorimetry, and colorimetry is based on which law? Faraday's law. Now let's see what is written in this paragraph. So according to this paragraph, colorimetry is based on an exhaustive electrolysis of the analyte. So what do you understand by this? What do you understand by this word exhaustive? So exhaustive means that the analyte is completely oxidized, or the analyte is completely reduced at the working electrode. Okay, at the working electrode, or that it reacts completely with reagent that is generated at the working electrodes. So there are two forms of colorimetry. So what are they? The first one is the controlled potential colorimetry, and second is controlled current colorimetry. Or you can also say that there are two types of colorimetry. The first one is controlled potential colorimetry, and second is controlled current colorimetry. So let us understand what is the first one, that is CPC, that is controlled potential colorimetry. So it is a type of a colorimetry in which we apply a constant potential, since the name suggests potential. So here the potential is applied at a very you can say we apply a very constant potential to the electrochemical cell. So Now comes the second, that is controlled current. Since the name suggests current, so in this technique we pass a constant current. Okay, here since the name suggests potential, so we are applying or the constant potential. Here we are supplying the constant current through the electrochemical cell. So these are the two forms of colorimetry. Now let us understand what is basically a colorimetric method is. So as we have discussed that colorimetry method, it is an analysis method, or you can say it based on the measurement of quantity of electricity that pass through the solution of an electrochemical reaction. Basically it is used for the analysis of the quantity. You can say quantitative analysis is this method is based on the quantitative analysis of the electricity that passes through the solution of an electrochemical reaction. Now the colorimetry method are mainly based on the measurement of quantity of electricity. Okay, here the main thing behind colorimetry is the measurement of the electricity, the measurement of the quantity of electricity. So this is important. ओके कहीं पर कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कलोरोमेट्री के बारे में, तो यू जस्ट हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट कलोरोमेट्री इज द मेजरमेंट ऑफ क्वांटिटी ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. ओके, so you can also can say that it used in electrochemistry, where to determine the quantity of electricity which is needed to complete a electrolytic reaction. So जब एक electrolytic reaction होती है तो उसमें कितनी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कंज्यूम होती है उसको मेजर करने के लिए क्लोरोमेट्री मेथड इज यूज्ड. Okay, so the sample which is to be determined undergoes through the reaction at electrode, which is measured at the electrode. Okay, now let's see the principal part. So as we have studied the different analytical technique, and in every analytical technique we came across the principle, because principle is the most important part of any analytical technique or any method. Okay, so if we talk about the principle of colorimetry, so the basic principle of colorimetry, it involves the passing a unknown electrical charge, okay, through a solution that contains the analyte. So you can also say that it is based on Faraday's law, and the principle says that the basic principle of colorimetry involves the passing of a known electrical charge, means the electrical charge is known, and through a solution which contains the analyte. Let's say that this is the solution. Okay, this is the solution which carries your analyte. So the amount of electricity, or you can say electric charge, that passes through this solution is known the basic principle of colorimetry depend on this. Okay, so the analyte is the substance that is being measured, because in every analytical technique you basically measure the analyte. So analyte is the substance that is to be measured, and it can be either reactant or a product. So irrespective of that, it will only measure the reactant, or it will only measure the product. So analyte, it is a substance which is to be measured. It can either be a reactant or a product that is present in the electrolytic reaction. So in this particular thing, that is, the charge is typically generated using a power source. Of course, we all know that the charge is generated with the help of power source. Example, battery, or you can say potential stats. The charge is then passes through the solution for the specific period of time. So there should be a very specific period of time till which the charge is passed through that analytic or you can say solution, and further resulting change in the solution is measured. So whenever there is a change in the solution after being after the this charge is passed through the solution, so the reading is measured. Okay, now comes the method of colorimetry. So we have already discussed about that the types of colorimetry. So now let's talk about the colorimetric method of analysis. So how this method is used in analysis purpose. So colorimetric method of analysis, it basically depends upon the quantity of electric charge that passes through the solution during a electrochemical reaction. This paragraph we have already understood in our previous slide, this one. Okay, so there is an exhaustive electrolytic electrolysis of a analyte that we have also discussed, that is the quantitative reduction or oxidation of analyte at the working electrode, or the analyte when it reacts quantitatively with the reagent that is generated at the working electrode. So as I have told you that this whole method of colorimetry based on Faraday's law of electrolysis, or you can say it basically governed by Faraday's laws. Again, I am just repeating what is Faraday's law. So Faraday laws state that the mass of substance that produces or consumed during a electrolytic reaction, it is directly proportional to the amount of electricity that flows through the system. Okay, so this is the formula of Faraday's law. Okay, so you should be knowing this formula. So this formula is very important. Okay, now comes the important part, that is the instrumentation. So if we see the instrumentation, so the instrumentation somewhat look like this. Okay, so now we will going to have a detailed discussion of the instrumentation part. So the controlled current colorimetry, it normally it is carried out using a 2-electrode galvanostat consisting of working electrode and a counter electrode. So here two types of electrode is used. The first one is working electrode and second one is the counter electrode. Okay, and the working electrode, the first let's talk about the first one, the working electrode. So the working electrode is very simple type of electrode, and it is also called as generator electrode. Okay, so working electrode, it is also known as the generator electrode. So generally in examination or in interviews, they can ask you that why working electrode is known as generator electrode, or why it is called as generator electrode. The reason is that since it is where the mediator react to the generate the species that react with the analyte. So this one is very important. Why it is known as generator? Because the mediator, okay, the mediator, it reacts to the generate, it reacts, why it reacts to generate the species that react with the analyte. So because they generate the species that react with the analyte, so it is known as generator electrode. So what it is generating, it is generating the species, that species which will going to react with the analyte. And I'm saying analyte. Okay, analyte, it is not analyte, it's analyte. Sorry students, I'm pronouncing it wrong. Okay, so this is the working electrode. Now comes the second part, that there are two other crucial needs for the control current colorimetry instrumentation. So what is the basic need, or you can say crucial need, for this control current colorimetry instrumentation? Why it is badly need, or you can say crucial need? So it gives a very accurate clock for measuring the electrolysis time. Okay, and the switch for starting and stopping of the electrolysis. Okay. Second, the switch must be control both the current and the clock so that we can make an accurate determination of electrolysis time. So the simple thing is that it gives a very accurate result, and every measurement should be, you know, so it should be very much pretty much monitored in a very controlled manner. So this is how the instrumentation part of calorimetry look like. So it has a generator electrode, it has a one auxiliary electrode. Okay. So they have analyte solution with precursor. So auxiliary, you are just thinking of what is auxiliary um, electrode. So auxiliary electrode is nothing but it is a counter electrode. So both the electrodes, they are connected with a switch that is continuously giving the constant electric source or electric current, sorry. And this is the whole setup. Okay, now comes the advantages of calorimetry. So as already told you that calorimetry has many advantages, okay, over the other analytical technique that is used. The first advantage is this calorimetry is very highly accurate. Okay, it is very highly accurate technique. So because of this its high accuracy, it has a more usage as compared to the other analytical technique. So the amount of electricity required to complete a reaction, which is directly proportional to the amount of analyte present. Okay, so the first advantage is it is highly accurate. Second, it is also a very sensitive selective technique, because it used to selectively remove or deposit one of the substance in the solution. So the substances that are present in a solution, so by the use of this technique you can select or you can deposit one of the substances that is present in the solution. So again, because of this its selective nature or a selective way of selective technique, so this technique can make it ideal for the analysis of the trace elements or impurities. So apart from these, that it is highly accurate, it is very selective technique. Apart from this, calorimetry is a non-destructive technique. So what do you understand by non-destructive technique? So non-destructive technique means that analyte, it can be recovered after the analysis is complete. So if you want to recover your analyte after the whole process get complete, so you can do that. So that it is also one of the advantages of using the colorimetry. Now colorimetry, it requires a very high level of skill and expertise to perform, and is sensitive to small variation. So there is one limitation also, student, that it requires a very high level of skill. Okay, so you need a proper training of the person who is operating colorimetry. So there needs a cost. So now comes the application of potential colorimetry. Okay, so if we talk about the application of colorimetry, so the first one is inorganic analysis. Second is analysis of the radioactive material, and third is the micro analysis. So the first one is organic analysis. So this technique is used uh, when you have used in the determination of several types of metal. Okay, as many as 55 elements of the periodic table can be determined by this cathodic reduction of metal ions to the metallic state. So firstly, it has a very huge demands in every sector. So whether it's inorganic analysis, or whenever you want to analyze any radioactive material, example uranium, plutonium. Okay, so this method can be used. Then in microanalysis, okay, so in when you want to analyze the micro analysis of any particular substances, so this technique is used. Further, it is used in determination of the thickness of metallic coating. So if you want to check or analyze what is the thickness of metallic coating, so you can use this technique. Second, it is used in determination of total antioxidant capacity of an antioxidant. It is used in determination of total carbon in ferrous and non-ferrous compounds. So sorry, metal. So you can see this technique is very precise and very well in a determination of any type of metal you want to know. Okay, or sorry, a compound you want to know. Then it helps in determination of picric acid and separation of nickel and cobalt. It is used in the analysis of radioactive materials. So it has a very huge application in every sector. So that brings to the end of the lecture. Now let's discuss the some review questions. So these review questions are very important, students, because these questions they can be asked in the interviews. So the first question is, what is the principle that is involved in the colorimetry? So again I am just telling you that the basic principle of colorimetry involves a passing of a known electrical charge through a solution which contains the analyte. So the analyte is the substance that you have to be that to be measured, you can say. It can either be a reactant or it can either or a product. Okay, so that is present in a analyte electrolytic solution reaction. So the charge is typically generated using a power sources. For example, you can use battery or potentiostat, you can use as a power source, and the charge is then passed through the solution, a solution that contains the analyte for a specific period of time. There should be a specific period of time. So after that the resulting change in the solution is measured. So this is the principle that is involved in the colorimetry. Okay, now comes the second question, that is, explain the theory of colorimetry. Okay, so in this particular slide we haven't discussed about the theory of colorimetry, but would like to give you a brief introduction about the theory of colorimetry. So what is the theory of colorimetry? And since it is a very lengthy topic, so I'll just make a separate you know this lecture on the theory of colorimetry, so you can go and relate to that lecture. Okay, now comes the third question, that is, explain in detail about the instrumentation of colorimetry. So we have already discussed the instrumentation part, so you can go and can prepare the notes on what is the detail of the instrumentation that is involved in colorimetry. Then comes the principle that is involved in colorimetric titrations. So now what is the different endpoints detection that is used in colorimetry? And at last you have to list out the applications of colorimetry. So students, here there are two questions that I haven't complete in this particular slide because the lecture is being so lengthy. So in the next lecture we will going to discuss about the theory, we will going to discuss about the colorimetric titration. Okay, so two topics, we will going to discuss in the next lecture. Or so these are certain important questions that could be asked in the examination, or they can asked in your interview session. So you can simply go to this lecture, and again if you faces any queries or anything related to the lecture, you can just simply leave your queries in the comment section below. So by the time if you want to take a screenshot of this review question, you can take a screenshot, and you can prepare these questions. And again, if you have any doubt, any queries related to the lecture, you can simply leave your queries in the comment section below. In the next lecture, I'll be answering the queries. Now student, you can follow ITLS Academy on different portals like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WhatsApp, LinkedIn. You can subscribe ITLS Academy on YouTube. You can, if you want to get an app of ITLS Academy, you can get it on Google Play. And this is our website, that is www.itlsacademy.com. If you want to enroll in any of the uh, stream, or if you want to enroll any of the courses, you can simply visit our website and get update. And this is our helpline number, as well as it's a WhatsApp number, that is 7080833450. So you can simply call on this number, and if you want to leave any message or anything, you can simply leave your message, or you can ask through message. This number is also, as told you, that it is available on WhatsApp. So thank you for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe our channel. And yes, don't forget to press the bell icon to get more updates, more lectures related to analytical techniques. So please hit the bell icon. Thank you again students. Thank you for watching.